this clip, we'll take our first look at the basics of searching with the online data search interface. Users familiar with the original CD or USB version of data search will notice that the online version is similar. If you are not an experienced searcher of family history datasets, you might find it useful to have a basic understanding of databases. In the world of databases, the information of a dataset is stored in one or more tables. Each table contains multiple records. Each record will contain information for an individual person or event, such as a voter registration, a cemetery inscription, or a government licence. The records within each table contain the same fields, such as surname, given names, etc. In this dataset, the combined Commonwealth electoral roll for Queensland 1903 to 1969, we can see 9 fields including surname, given names and place of living. Lower down on the page, Datasearch tells us that the dataset contains over 5 million total entries or records. Before we start to search a particular database, it may be useful to explore the information buttons at the top of the page. As a general rule, you'll find these buttons on most of the data search datasets. Click on a button to open the information page in a new tab. About this dataset describes the data contained within the dataset, its source and information about its organisation. When finished with the page, simply close the tab to return to search. You can access these buttons at any time. Click on Hints on Searching for a generic set of information about how to search with online data search. It is a written version of much of the information you will hear about in this and the following clips. Help describes a few steps you can take if you need help, culminating in a link to someone who may be able to help solve your problem. And Acknowledgements identifies the people who have volunteered their time to create the indexed dataset. You can carry out a search using the keyword search facility or by filling out one or more of the search fields, or a combination of both. Please note that searches are not case sensitive. A keyword search, above the line, will search across all the fields in the dataset to locate records which include all the keywords you enter. You may have one or more keywords which must be separated by a space if you enter more than one word. If we were looking for John Smith, we enter the words and click on Search. The result, that is, the records which meet the criteria, will be displayed lower down on the page. You may not get the result you were expecting, but each of the 4,042 records indicated will contain the word John and the word Smith. We can click on the Reset button to return the page to its original state. A field search done below the line allows you to enter data into specific fields within the dataset. Initially, the fewer fields you use, the better. If you try to complete all fields, your search may not be successful. So, if we were still looking for John Smith, but in 1969, we enter Smith in the surname field, John in the given name field, and 1969 in the year field, then click Search. Again, the appropriate records will be displayed lower down on the page. If your search returns a large number of results, you can change how many are displayed per page by clicking the Show Entries drop-down menu. We can also see a count of the number of records found. You'll notice that the records may be displayed across multiple pages. But we may have found more John Smiths than we wanted. Each search field can be modified by selecting one of the options under Match. By changing the Given Names field to Whole field, we can get John Smiths without a second name. By selecting Start a field, we can get John Smiths with a second or more names. But what if John wasn't really his official first name, just the name he used? Using the match option anywhere in field will give records which generally meet the criteria. So, whole of field will give records with only John in the field. Start of field will give records with John at the start of the field. And anywhere in field will give records with John somewhere in the field. We can then reduce the number of records by adding text to other fields. If we knew John lived in Toowoomba, we could enter the word Toowoomba into place of living, set the match to anywhere in field and click search. This gives us no result. Let's remove Toowoomba from the place of living and re-click search to check our previous results. You'll notice that the name of the town or suburb does not always appear in the place of living field in this dataset, but often appears in the subdivision field. So let's enter Toowoomba in the subdivision, the match to anywhere in field. When we click search, we get a result. As indicated earlier, we could instead enter Toowoomba into the keyword search box, along with the names and year in the search fields. This will give us the same result. Some databases include accented characters from languages other than English, especially where they include the names of people from European countries. These characters are collectively referred to as diacritics. Since many keyboards do not provide support for entry of diacritic characters, online data search supports searching for foreign spellings by treating groups of characters as equivalent. This chart shows the groups of characters considered to be equivalent. If we were looking in the combined electoral roll for a record containing Max Muller, Muller spelt with an umlaut over the U, we can enter Max in the given names field and Muller using an ordinary U in the surname field. The result includes several Max Mullers, and at the end of the list we find a number of records with an umlaut over the U. In the next clip, we'll look at where we might find some extra information in the dataset, how we can sort our results, and how we can print some of the information that we find.